My parents always taught me to be honest. And quite frankly, they also taught me that when I was not honest, there would be consequences. Most of us have experienced that. Most of us know that being honest is our best way forward. I just want to take a few minutes today and be honest with you. Since this pandemic began, we've been doing a lot of things differently. And one of the things that I think, if we were all honest with ourselves, is that we've prayed differently. And I've prayed differently. I probably prayed more. I've probably prayed more fervently. I've prayed differently. And I want to share with you that we've seen lots of answers to prayer. And I've been excited about that. And I've told a few of those stories, and I've said that the Lord has blessed us and shown favor in our city and in our community because we have prayed. Well, the honesty part of this today is that this week there's been a couple of incidences that have shaken me. Things that I've prayed for, things that I've been praying about, seems to have taken a turn in a wrong direction. And I've had to pause. I've had to center my mind on what that might mean. And I've come to the understanding that I probably don't have every answer, but I do have a few answers. And one thing is that that's not going to shake my faith in God. That's not going to force me or cause me to turn away from God in any way. What it really does is it causes me to dig deeper and depend more on God. I thought, as these incidences were taking place, a couple of stories. One of them is maybe one of the most familiar stories in Scripture, and that's when a young shepherd boy named David rose to the occasion and lifted his hand and volunteered to fight a giant. Now that might have seemed like the craziest thing in the world, but he did. A shepherd boy, the last choice, just raised his hand and said, "I'll fight that giant." Well, in that conversation, he told the giant, he said, "Look, giant, I want you to know that today the Lord is going to turn you over to me. He's going to turn you over to me, and you will be slayed." And then he said, "And everyone gathered here, everyone that watches this will know one thing, that the battle is the Lord's." And so I'm living into that. As we've been praying and we've been battling and we've been lifting people and asking God's protection, we're really in a battle. We're in a battle against many forces. And I'm living into the promise today. Even though my faith has been shaken a little, even though it's kind of taken a hit this week, I'm going to live into the reality that this battle is the Lord's. And then I also thought of another scripture that's found in Isaiah. God was talking to Isaiah about the adventures of the Israelites, and that could be a real adventure at times. But he said this to him. He said, "No weapon formed against you will prosper." And you see, I'm living into that promise as well. I'm living into the promise today when some incidences happen that have kind of gone in a direction I wish they wouldn't. First of all, that the battle is the Lord's. And secondly, in the end, nothing formed against me, not one thing formed against me, shall ultimately promise. Now, what that causes me to do is it causes me to pray more intentionally. It causes me to pray more specifically. It causes me to pray more fervently. And we're 8 or 9 weeks into this pandemic situation we find ourselves in. And I just want to encourage you that in your life, in whether there's a pandemic or no pandemic, you're going to find times when you take a hit, when incidences happen that shake you, like it has shaken me this week. But I want you to live into the promises of God. And I want you to live into the promises of God when you seem to be getting weary if you're getting weary over this pandemic time period, that you'll just dig deeper. It's no time to let up. We need to dig deeper in our faith, in our calling on God, in our fervency to pray to God that He will win this battle for us, and that no weapon formed against us will prosper. So I'm having to live into that. Honestly, I'm having to live in to a lot of things that I've been saying over these last few weeks. They've become real to me this week, but I'm going to live into them. I'm certainly not turning against my faith that believes in a God that is in control and is greater than all things. And I invite you to join with me as we continue to battle, as we continue to pray, as the Lord wins this battle for us.